everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. So, let's go over fundamentals of what happened earlier. So earlier, I wasn't feeling good. My I was out here, y'all. My I was out here, and I was like, "What the hell, man?" Like it's still kind of out there. I don't know if it's this one or this one, but it was like swollen, and then I went to the store to get some Starbucks, and I just felt nauseated. I felt really nauseated, and so I just threw up. Obviously, I brushed my teeth, but I threw up in my mouth, and I was like, "This shit is not going on the floor. This is not going on the floor." I'm not having throw up on my floor. Even though I would be able to get it up, but it was crazy. So I finally found the pills that I had a long time ago that is for nausea. I try to keep different pills in like sheltered or housed just in case I may need it. So yeah, that sucked. That sucked because I haven't really ate like that in the since the surgery. Um so today the mission is to eat some yogurt, at least eat some yogurt. I ate some soup. Um and what else did I eat? Um I ate the soup, probably eat some cream of wheat. I don't know. We'll have to see. But today we are going to be talking about Donald Trump. Speaking of that, hold on, y'all. I shouldn't have said what I said prior to that, but yeah. So I got the hat on, y'all. Y'all ready? Let me put the heater right here. And let's see what he's been talking about. It's been a lot going on with Donald Trump, and I haven't been keeping up with it. I've been online. I haven't really gotten any sleep like that. Every time I went to sleep and woke up, went to the bathroom, my face got more and more swollen. And I was like, dang, man. Like, I tried to lay on my back, and it was like terrible, man. It was terrible. I wasn't in any pain. I was trying to skip the hours that I had to take my pills because I didn't want to sit up there and take my pills back to back to back to back. What if one day I may need those pills? So, with the like pain, like throughout the course of this last week or next week. So yeah, but I feel better. Um, I just wanted to say what we're supposed to be doing is we're supposed to be talking about Trump since we haven't talked about him in a while. Um, we haven't talked about him in a while. Let me pull up what I need to pull up. Okay, I think this is 1 hour ago, 50-50 chance. Let's look at it. Come on. We're ready for you. Okay. Ah, I may have to step off the screen and blow my nose because it hurts to blow my nose. Okay. Okay, that ain't that bad. That it's like my face get really itchy, and then when I scratch it, it's very no. He said Phil. He was like a tough negotiator and a deal maker, and he's like fair. Destroy. Yeah, pharmaceuticals should be built, manufactured in the United States. That way, if an emergency happens, then um, it will be in the United States. Um, but if he so happened to make a deal, with the European Union, then that's great too. Art of the deal making process of Donald Trump and how he makes these deals out to be, you know. So yeah. What I don't get is why other countries don't participate in the giving aid to Gaza. I don't get why they don't participate in giving aid. Um, America is always being number one, and therefore I understand why the tariffs and the trade talks go on, because America needs funding from somewhere. Um, that's how I feel. Did you see how they were ripping the food. I mean, it's not really like the food that they have is like soup, and they're ripping the bowls from each other, and they're fighting over the food. It's just terrible. It's terrible. Um, Kaza has been through some stuff, you know. So yeah. Sort of like what Canada said, the king, um, the king sat up there and said, give me a second. So, King Charles, um, he said that he's going to make it difficult for people to get out once they get in Canada. That's the storyline that they're going by. King Charles was talking about it, and he said that he is going to make it very difficult for criminals to get out. And I said, woo woo, you know. Then Trump, he has alligator Alcatraz. Um, you know, we don't need criminals in this country, you know, because they do nothing but create havoc for our country. They kill, they rob, they steal, you know. Imagine having an ID card that you a real ID, and then all of a sudden it just gets stolen. It's not the end of the world, but dang, why do you want to make something like that happen? Still rob, kill, you know, all of that. You know, we don't need that type of stuff, you know. And it not only goes to the Hispanic illegal immigrants, it goes to all those who commit crime and have gotten a second chance and don't know how to act, still want to act up, like they still want to break the law and do things that isn't appealing to the country that we stay in. You know, we have children that are getting older, and I'm not even a grandmother yet, but I will be in a couple of years from now. So I figure, you know, we need to think about the future of what's going on. I beg to differ. That I read somewhere where there was one immigrant that climbed up the wall. He actually climbed up the wall, and I was like, "What is going on? You climbed up the wall, all the way up the wall, y'all." He climbed all the way up the wall. I was like, "Dang, man!" He's like, "You can do it this way, essay." I'm like, dang, man, you know they got cameras, you know they're going to be looking, and yet you're allowing yourself to climb up a wall. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And then it's birds dying, birds dying because of the airplanes. You know, I didn't know it was the highest commodity of of energy available out there. I didn't know. If the fiber doesn't go well with the land, then why build it? Why build it? Why not build something, a type of material where it is compatible with the land? That's crazy. And the windmills come from China. China um, gives them, or it's a purchase transaction from China. So imagine that, things going wrong with it. Yeah, I don't like this, the way that how this is developing. 30 speeches, like if that's 15 minutes, that's a lot of hours. That's a lot of hours. If that's like 30 minutes, let's see, 15 minutes, 15 times 30. That's 450 hours worth of talk time almost, possibly. Let's see. So you got John Radcliffe, CIA director, and Devin Nunes, Republican, California, former House Intelligence Committee chairman. Molly Hemingway, the Federalist editor in chief. Peter Schwarzer, Government Accountability Institution president. Bill Hagerty, Republican, Tennessee Senate Foreign Relations Committee. This is basically the ON or ODNI or ONDI. Let me look it up. ODNI. DNI. They call it DNI for short. ODNI. Basically, a senior level agency that provides oversight to the intelligence community. 70 people said that they don't have no evidence, but yet more evidence came out, like false evidence, um, about this Russia collusion. How did more evidence come out? We know it was, I want to make sure I word this correctly. We know it had some, Obama was the cause of it, and other people as well. You know, it's just sad. It's sad to know that 70 people said that they didn't have it, but yet they had evidence, false evidence, you know, stating that Russia was colluding with the United States to make Trump win in the election coming up. So, yeah. ODNI Gabbard, which is Tulsi Gabbard, the head of DNI, um, you don't play with ODNI or DNI. You don't play with them. They are they got so many intelligence agencies, but it's like this particular agency, put you on the do not fly list. They do different things, and you know, I can't believe Obama did it. He had to undercut somebody in order to come up, you know, and it's sad, man. It's sad. My own, like, what would you do if you were in that situation where you were in that discussion room or briefing room where you say, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's go ahead and make it a Russia hoax, so that we can frame, allegedly frame Trump for this, 70 people, imagine 70 people saying that they didn't do it. And during this time they didn't care about, they didn't, at this time they would love to throw, a lot of people threw Trump under the bus, and by lying. A lot of people threw him under the bus by lying. So yeah. Only imagine how many people who want to be fair and become president that's not a part of this circle, not in the circle of Donald Trump or not in the circle of Hillary Clinton and Obama, what they would do to them to smear them in a campaign, a smear campaign trail, just so that they can get what they want, and that is destruction of becoming president of the United States of America. And remember, there's always a paper trail. There's always a paper trail. I have paper trails for the things that I've done, but I haven't done nothing wrong per se. But everybody leaves a paper trail. Everybody leaves a paper trail with everything that they do. Whether they throw it away or not, they are bound to tell someone, they are bound to do something. And there was absolutely no evidence about this collusion. They have no reason to make up this type of stuff. They have no reason to make up this type of stuff except to make it up to make people look bad so that they won't have a vote. It's all about the votes. It's all about the votes, basically. It's all about the votes. You have these votes out here. Votes are important. I got 12,000, which isn't nothing compared to how many Trump got, but I'm just saying that on a voter's website, a reputable voter's website, they actually put that I had 5,000 votes when I got 12,000 votes. Just lying, smearing my name. I wonder what else they would do to smear my name if push gives the shove. You know, seeing as though this is a Democrat state, and that's why I'm gonna watch this and then I'm gonna get off here. But that's why I want to leave Washington State, because I don't understand how they could smear my name and make it seem like I'm I'm basically have give me a second. Give me a second. I have to write down who it is. Oh man, come on. Where are you at? Where Ballotopia. Ballotopia put 5,000 votes, and when I got 12,000, I had to go to the actual voters registration place and actually figure out that it's still 12,000 votes. So let's continue. Just think, if he wouldn't have never got reelected, this would have never came out as being a false narrative that was narrated by Obama and Hillary. Oh my God, Russia was aware of it. But you know what? It doesn't even matter because it's like Russia was doing what was best for Russia at that point in time because he knew how Trump was and how Trump was going to react to wanting peace, and he wanted Ukraine. So, and we see what could happen to these people that did this horrific act just to keep Trump from being president. You know, when someone is destined to do something, when it's in destiny's hands that they do things, they if it's in destiny's hands that they are going to be president, whether people like it or not, he's president again. He's president again, whether people like it or not. You know, he it was destiny. No matter what happened to get to thread him there, what whoever threaded him there, you know, helping him, you know, because he's had tremendous help, you know. He was threaded into to destiny, you know, and to for Hillary to do that is just unacceptable because she just didn't like him, you know, because of the way his persona is, and you know, he's a strong man, you know, he don't take no slack from women or men. He's a very strong man, and that is one thing, like Clinton from Secret Service had a book thrown at his eye and caused him to get a black eye. That's what it said in some of the stories I've read about Hillary. Hillary threw a book at his face. Um, weak, weak. She's used to weakness, and that's what it's about. If there was no reason to have something, if there was no reason to have this fracture of a cause to be, like people, for instance, has been pardoned. People have, before she answered that question or he answered that question, people have been pardoned. And if there was no reason for them to be pardoned, why would they be pardoned? Why would they pardon them if there was nothing they did wrong? They didn't pardon Trump. They didn't pardon Trump, did they? No, he spent a couple of hours in jail, an hour or two. They treated him worse. They treated him just like a black person. And what I mean by that is they took him to jail. They gave him a photo op, a big photo op of his face, and they treated him like crap, you know, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy, you know. Felonies of abundance, felonies of abundance. He has felonies, you know, and a lot of people don't care. I mean, what has he done? Remember, wake up. What has he done to end up in jail for like a half a day or a day, like a half a day or a couple of hours? And what has he done? He hasn't done nothing corrupt. He's been, you know, I don't know, you know, let me rewind. I don't know what Trump has done. I'm not with him 24/7, but I do know that how he present himself is very professional. What he does for the nation is very commemorable. Um, he does a lot of great things for our country, and you can tell he cares about our country, and that's what it's about. When you care about your country to the fact that you're fighting for your country, you're fighting through people for your country, that shows your dedication to want to become president of the United States of America. Before the head of FBI came in, before the head of FBI came in, um, the FBI was ghetto. The FBI was ghetto. Um, they did some things to me that would, like, now that Cash Patel is in office, everything is fine. As soon as he got into office, everything has changed. I don't go off calling them for weird reasons or any of that, but it was haywire the way the FBI, you call because you're being followed by illegal immigrants, and then all of a sudden you get hung up on because they don't take that type of case. And I think that that was very poorly orchestrated and poorly executed, wrongfully, um, and To get back to the Russia though, they're basically going to the origins of who actually had access to these Russian collusion. We know it was Hillary Clinton. We know it was Obama. We know it was other members. Um, so let's continue to listen. Just imagine a person that will smile in your face and plot on how to get you back, like smiles in your face. That's all she does is smile. That's all she has, that smirkety smirk on her face 24/7. You can tell something is mentally unstable about her. Like I said, she hit her own husband with a book. I may have been short-lived my marriages, but I have never ever threw a book at somebody's face and made them get a black eye. That's something I never did. So, you know, she has a split personality. You heard what he said? He said a different FBI. This is a different FBI. They still got a couple of stragglers out there, for Biden and for Kamala and for Hillary and for Obama. But for the most part, they have gotten the majority of the virus or the fungus out of the FBI. So if you are calling about being followed by illegal immigrants, if you're calling because that's a national security threat, or you have a online security threat, call them. But don't necessarily say, I'm just trying to call to square things away. That's what I used to say. I used to say it all the time. I used to be like, I'm calling to square things away. What do you mean, ma'am? And then they'll get into that, and then it just get into a whole big thing. But yeah, I always be honest, and you know, DNI has some strong evidence. ODNI. He wants to go down in history as telling the truth, that what happened actually what happened underneath the Democrats administration didn't happen the way it seemed to have happened. There was lies, there was corruption, everything under the book to get what they wanted. If they don't get what they want, then they lie and they act corrupt, and then they do corrupt things. Now I know CNN is going to say, well, this is just Donald Trump way of twisting the narrative to make it seem like he's the innocent person when it's obvious they lied. They lied about everything. You know, every narrative that they spent 4 years ago or 5 years ago, however you want to say it, has been spent into some perverted narrative about Donald Trump doing something wrong when it wasn't like that. You know, you are hoodwinked. You know, they spent the narrative, and some people still don't get that and want to admit to it, that they spent the narrative. CNN, ABC, NBC, MSNBC, they spent the narrative and they lied. They must got a lot of money to spend. Let's prevent them from doing it again. You know, the circle, the circle of life. You know, what they're doing in a circular pattern is wrong. You know, they're all in circles and groups when there need to be someone new. You know, Trump is doing an excellent job. Clapping for him. All I'm saying is there need to be someone in a group that isn't connected to the groups such as Trump, such as Hillary, such as Obama, that comes in and they help grab them and keep them under their bosom to help develop them into a stronger person and a stronger individual for political reasons, and help develop this person into a stronger person. That's what type of person needs someone from the outside. You know, all of them are in cliques, and I feel like that is going to be the next advancement to the new situation, is to have somebody come in that is serious about doing what they need to do, and make sure that the plan goes as planned with taking care of the United States and making sure the United States is taken care of as far as economy, you know, and many other things. Some people are going to be held accountable. This is a huge thing, CIA Director Radcliffe, because Trump was trying to do the right things for our country, and they sabotaged him at every avenue. Excuse me. Every avenue they sabotaged him. They sabotaged this guy. How would you feel if you were being sabotaged? I know what it feels like to be sabotaged at every avenue. I know what it's like because I said I was running for president before, and look at what happened to me. I ended up in jail. I ended up being poisoned with methamphetamine. All that happened to me. Like, I know what it was easy to do me dirty because I'm just a regular person trying to run for president. This Trump is rich. He's rich. So, yeah. Now, if y'all don't know what treason is, that is a crime of betraying one's country, especially by attempting to kill the sovereign or overthrow the government. They they basically did that. They basically did that. I sat up there and I was going through my notes at the VA hospital, and they said that there was mold in the Motrin. They were like, it's mold in the Motrin, and I'm not tripping off of what the VA say. It happened to be on there, but just think if what could be put in these drugs or what can happen, you know, like at least to 10% of the drugs coming through the to our country. Most of the drugs that's coming to us, about 10%. We don't know what's in them. And I wouldn't depend on Joe Blow prescribing me or giving me any drugs that could be tainted or could be anything could be wrong with them. China doesn't like us. China doesn't say, "Oh, that's my friend. That's my friend. America is my friend." It don't. China don't say that. China don't say that. China don't say that's my friend. America's my friend. Let me make sure these drugs that I give to him or her be safe and healthy, just like the windmills that Trump was talking about earlier. How the windmills cost a lot of money and it can't be pushed underground. Politics, China is a national security threat. Russia is too. And yeah, those are the two biggest national security threats right now. You know, Russia is number two, China is number one. You know, because you know, Russia is engaging in causing the war. In Ukraine, and don't want to stop the war. You know, I don't want to go no further into that because I know that the Kremlin be, watching and stuff, and I don't want, you know, I like to travel, and I'm not going to Russia. I'm not going to Russia, um, because I know I probably get arrested, but you know, uh, for treason, contrary to what you believe, treason. They aren't my country, but I will say that they have done some questionable things to America. I mean, did y'all know that China had a Chinese government police in New York City? How can you, like, they had actual police officers that were Chinese, not American Chinese police officers. No, this is the authority of China police officers that were in New York City doing illegal activities. So yeah, it's gotten dangerous. China sat up there and stated that we're just a pawn. We're nothing. If everybody go against us, we're nothing. We'll just be a wooden. I forgot how they stated it, but they said we will be nothing if everybody will go against us. Like China poses the biggest threat. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about. Let's see, what hour am I at? 1 hour, 23 minutes. What I'll do is I'll get back on here a little later. Um, I just, I don't know. It's just corruption everywhere you go. We 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 truly need somebody that is out of the picture, that doesn't have ties or connections to different people, you know, but will get to learn about those people. Because, like Trump said, he said he didn't like everybody that he spoke to. He didn't like everybody that he spoke to, both good and bad people he spoke to over the course of years and decades of his life, and he didn't like everybody. And that's true. You don't like everybody you speak to, but you learn to get along with them and learn to pace it's called pacing with them to get along with them in a way where both of y'all can agree on something, But other than that, I'm about to get off of here for a little bit. Charge my computer. Charge my computer. I look just like a chipmunk. Oh man, I am swollen. Like my whole eye up here was swollen, and it still is a little bit. I'm like, dang, man, what's going on with that, man? Like, seriously. Um, so, I appreciate you guys for joining me. Take care, be safe, and I will see you guys a little later. Hi.
Never waste my time.